Jonathan Kuminga is back with the Warriors, but are they wasting his talent? Well, let's find out. Jonathan Kuminga has quite an interesting career so far, being with the Golden State Warriors, and some may wonder, is he really going to stay there for long? But he did re-sign on a 3-year, $75.2 million contract with a team option. So this keeps him there for a little bit longer. It might actually add value to different trades if they decide to do that throughout the year. He only played 47 regular season games for them last year, averaging about 15 points per game, about 4 rebounds or so on 30.5 3-point percentage, which is below league average. And we all know him to be a slasher and a rim runner. Primarily, he plays mid range and in. If he puts the ball on the deck, he always tries to get underneath the 3-point line and score from mid range and in. However, Kuminga did show some improvement in the playoffs as he shot 40% from three. When Steph Curry went down, he was asked to be a starter, and an increased role was present for him at that time, which he didn't have all year long. Again, 47 regular season games and a lot of DNPs. I don't know what Steve Kerr's thought process is on this, so I propose the question: are the Warriors wasting his talent, or is Kuminga just another role player? As we get ready to break down some film, y'all let me know what your answer is. Something that people don't really think of when people say the name Jonathan Kuminga is high IQ, and here we see it as he exposes a mismatch. One expansion to his game that I really think is a true threat in his offensive gameplay is that he's able to take mid-range jumpers, and he's coming off a ball screen on this play and seeing the space, rises up over the hedge defender for a jumper and an easy two. There's a lot of distractions on and off the court, but let's talk about a positive distraction on the court. When you're teammates with Steph Curry and Jimmy Butler and have a playmaker like Draymond Green, a lot of attention is going to be elsewhere. So for Kuminga to only really be a cut guy and a slasher on this team, and really only catch and shoot when he needs to, and here he curls off of a screen to get to the bucket for an easy two. Kuminga is a big threat in transition because he is 6'8" and can move like a guard, but he can also take on centers and power forwards like Nas Reed on this play. And I got to do it to him again. Kuminga gets Nas Reed on a step back jumper here, and this just goes to show what I just said about him being able to attack power forwards and centers off the dribble. And what did I say that Jonathan Kuminga likes to do? Now, the Warriors push the pace here, and Kuminga catches the ball in the corner, and the defense isn't set, but that's no reason to have a miscommunication and not figure out where Kuminga is and what he wants to do. There is way too much space on the baseline here, and he takes that space, and he rises up and dunks over the defense. Because the Golden State Warriors play in like a small ball lineup and a small ball style, he plays either the 4 or the 5 majority of the time. Now, if you rewind back to what I said earlier, that's why he's able to attack power forwards and centers all the time, because that's the matchup that he gets. And here he goes against former Defensive Player of the Year Rudy Gobert and takes him to the rim with him and basically puts him in the rim. As we talk about whether or not Kuminga really fits on this team and if he'll ever be a star in the league, this is good to know that he was able to improve his 3-point percentage in the playoffs without Steph Curry and really step up in a different role. But let me show you why I don't exactly think he'll ever be a star in the league. The first thing that you're going to see here is BP driving down the right lane line, forcing a pinch from the defender off of Kuminga. And I get not settling, but I feel like Kuminga has way too much space here, and he has the length to just shoot over the top. The defender literally has his back turned to him and the ball, trying to cut him off on the baseline already. If you see the cheat on this play, why would you not take the space and just take the shot? This is an overthought here, and I think a lack of confidence as well. Until he gets that confidence and shows me that he's willing to take three-pointers, I don't think he'll ever expand his game out to where it needs to be an elite 3-level scorer. Do I think that makes him a bad basketball player? No. He's still productive within what he does, so if he wants to play mid-range and in, that's fine. I just think he should expand to what the game is today. Now, do I think Kuminga is the worst fit for the Warriors? No, because guess what? The way he plays, he can still be productive. And here you see him work off of a screen to still get downhill to attack the help side defender here. And I don't see a problem with it. He is a beneficiary of their offense. So, long story short, is he a bad fit for the Warriors? I don't think so. Do they think that he's a bad fit for the Warriors because he's not getting playing time? Probably. Are they saying this because they think he's a star? Future star at that? Probably. But here's my thought, he's not a bad fit. I think he's just an elite role player. Think about that. I say elite before role player because I think A, he plays his role well, but also B, I don't think his ceiling is any more than just being a productive slasher and cutter. And if he's asked to shoot, he's asked to shoot, and he can still be productive at times. Now, consistency is the problem. You can't go from 30% in the regular season from 3 to 40% in the regular season or in the playoffs from 3. So, you need to find a good balance. You need to figure it out that way. Be a 3 level scorer if possible. If you can do that, I have no doubts about you on the defensive end. And I think everybody has promise in you. Now, here is the last thing I'll say. We can sit here and talk about the Golden State Warriors and Jonathan Kuminga. However, he becomes trade eligible on January 15th before the trade deadline. There will be a lot of teams asking about him. His deal that we mentioned, 3 years, 75, will be very valuable to another team because it's not the most expensive deal that he could have gotten from anywhere else. Now, teams like Sacramento, maybe even the Bucks, teams that are just like on fringe NBA like finals contenders will go for him. He has a lot of value either off the bench or in the starting lineup. He's a very good production guy. So don't get it twisted. Very good basketball player, but I just don't think the Warriors are for him if Steve Kerr's not going to give him a chance. Do us a favor, guys. Remember to rate and review on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, as those help us the most. Also, remember to go like, comment, and follow on all socials, including X, Instagram, and TikTok. YouTube Shorts coming out every Wednesday. So let us know what you would like to see as the next move of the week. And also, catch us on TikTok Live starting on October 20th, weekdays in morning and afternoons. We hope to see you there. Otherwise, this was another episode of Court Vision, a Life in the Stands production. My name is Jake Bender, and remember, the film never lies.